So welcome everyone to this amazing channel named Geeks for Geek School. So from today onwards we are going to start with some Python course. So the name of that course is Python Game Development. So I'll be shooting some very good lectures on the same, and I'll show you how you can develop some amazing games on Python, right? So there will be 30 to 50 lectures which I will shoot on this, and definitely I will try to give my best so that you can understand each and everything related to Python game development. But before diving into the platform, I would first like to tell you about this course which we guys have come up with. So it's the course based on data structures and algorithms. I hope you guys know about data structure and algorithm. If you don't know about it, let me brief you about the same. So, what is a program? I hope you guys know about it very well. What is a computer program? So, it's basically a collection of instructions which is used to perform a specific task. Fine. For this, a computer program may need to store data, retrieve data, and perform some computations on data. Now, a data structure is a named location that can be used to store and organize data. Okay, and what is an algorithm? It is a collection of sequential steps which is used for solving a particular problem. Now, learning data structures and algorithms allows us to write efficient and optimized computer programs. So this DSC tutorial will guide you to learn different types of data structures and algorithms and their implementations on different programming platforms like Python, C, C++, Java, etc. So we have designed this course keeping the students of 9th to 12th in mind, right? So what is this course consists of? Let me tell you that. So we'll start with the basic things related to data structures and algorithm, right? And then we'll move towards the core concepts like data, linked list, queue, stack, etc. Okay, then there will be some live problem solving sessions which we will provide you, and they are going to be very interactive sessions because students from different countries, from different states are joining this amazing course which we have come up with. Then there will be, if you want to check out the syllabus, the topics that will be covered in this course, so you can come down over here on this web page. So that's the URL with the help of which you can access the web page on which this information of this whole course is given. So you just have to click on this button, and automatically on a new tab you will see a PDF file. Right now in this PDF file you will find all the topics that will be covered in the classes which we will provide you online. So we have bifurcated the syllabus week wise. What is going to happen in week 1? So there will be 4 lectures that will be that we will give you, and in the very first lecture we'll tell you about the basic things. For example, basics of arrays, basics of loops. Then in lecture 2, it will be a problem solving session in which we'll do some things related to addition, subtraction, multiplication, exponentiation, and various mathematical operations we are going to learn about. Then in lecture 3 we will talk about types of searching. So there will be linear search, there will be binary search, then there will be algorithms with which we can make the search easier. So that's what we will discuss in lecture number 3 of week 1. Then in lecture number 4 we are going to talk about some problem solving, some problems related to searching algorithms and maths concepts. So it will be a problem solving session which is going to enhance your thinking skills as well as problem solving skills, right? Then in week 2 we have these things, so bubble sort, selection sort, and then there will be a problem solving session again in lecture 4 that we will be conducting. Then in week 3 we have some very advanced concepts. So concepts related to linked list, stack queue, priority queue will be explained and briefed to all of you, and we'll explain everything, with a practical approach, right? So that you can understand them very well, and you can yourself implement all things which we will teach you in the online classes practically in your real life, right? Then there will be again this problem solving session in which we'll take problems related to the various advanced concepts related to stack queue, priority queue, etc. Then we have this week 4 finally, and here we'll talk about some other advanced concepts of data structures and algorithm, and some topics which are given over here are BFS and DFS. So they are very important if you want to define a good structure, if you want to define a structure for the data you have. These two things are very important. You should know about these two things. You need to have the knowledge about these two things if you want to give a proper structure to your data. Then there will be dynamic programming lecture, and finally we'll end up with some problem solving session, right? So this is what we'll cover in the online classes we'll provide you in this course. And when you'll come down, you can find the mentor, the name of the mentor and his achievements. Who will be guiding you throughout this course, who will be your course mentor. So Pawan Dikshit, who is an ACM ICPC 2019 Asia regionalist, and also he's working as a mentor at Geeks for Geeks. Definitely, when he'll share his extravagant experience with you guys, it will benefit you a lot, right? You just have to log in here on this page, and then you can register yourself for this course. If you have any queries in your mind, if you have any doubt in your mind, you're most welcome to put the same in the comment section. I am there to help you guys out. My team is there to who's checking the comment box regularly. They are checking that, and if you have anything to ask, if you want to say something, you want to share something, you want to ask something, you can put that in the comment section. Definitely we are there to help you guys out. However, also if you want to get in touch with us, that's our number, that's the toll free number of Geeks for Geeks. So you can contact us on this number, or else you can drop us a mail also on this email ID, right? Okay, so now let's dive into the platform. So what are we here for? So we'll talk about some very basic platforms that we will be using in Python game development. So first platform I'm going to tell you about is Python idle platform. So how can you download Python on your device, and how can you get that Python idle platform on your device? That's what I'm going to tell you. So you can simply type Python download like this in the search bar of Google, and that's where it will redirect you. So right on the top you'll see this hyperlink. Now when you'll click on this hyperlink, you will land on this website from where you can download any version of Python. So it's Python's official website. You can type this also directly in the URL part for accessing this website. Right, now what you have to do, before downloading the software, you have to find out what is the type of operating system you are using. And how you will do that, you can simply put PC over here, right? And when you right click on this PC, so that's what the window you will see. Now you can simply click this properties option, and this properties window of your computer is going to open up like this. Now here you will see the type of window, and I am using 64-bit operating system, right? So the Python's version which I should download on my device, it should be of 64-bit, not of 32-bit. If you have a 32-bit software, if you have a 32-bit operating system, so you will have to download a 32-bit Python on your device. Now, how can you find that 32-bit type of Python? So if you are on 64-bit, you just have to come on this downloads, and you can simply download the this latest version, which is 3.9.6 on your respective device. You just have to click on this 3.9.6, and the download will begin. I don't know whether you're able to see it or not. Let me just enlarge this window. Okay, so that's the exe file which you're seeing over here, and I just clicked on this Python 3.9.6, and it is there on my device, right? So it will get directly downloaded on your device. If suppose you want to go with some other version, so you can come on downloads, and then suppose you're using Windows operating system, so you can go with this option. If you're using Mac, so you can go with this option, right? So I'm going with Windows first. So here you'll find all the exe, all the hyperlinks with the help of which you can download the required exe file. Suppose you are on Windows 7 and you are using a 32-bit operating system. So you can go with this Windows embeddable package of 32-bit. If you are using a 64-bit Windows 7 and you want to download 3.9.6 cannot be used on Windows 7. I'm really sorry for that. If you're using a higher version, you can go with 3.9.6. So if you have a 32-bit operating system, you can go with this option. If you have a 64-bit operating system, you can go with this option. Right, and if you're using Windows 7, so you can go ahead and make use of this option for downloading the exe file. Then we have some hyperlinks over here also, with the help of which we can download the Python's exe file. So based on your type of operating system, you have to first check the type of your operating system before downloading this Python's exe file. Right, I hope you have understood this thing. So for Windows 7, you can go with these options. Where is that? Yeah, so you can go with these options. I think for Windows 7, yeah, these options you can use, right? So 32-bit is for downloading a 32-bit Python, you can go with this. For downloading a 64-bit, you can go with this. If you're using Windows 10, so Windows 10 or Windows 8, so you can go with these options, right? It's 3.9.6. Suppose you want to download 3.8 point something version, so you can come down and you'll find all the required hyperlinks over here. So this is for 3.8.8, this is for 3.6.13. Likewise, we have other hyperlinks over here available on this web page, right? So I hope you have understood how to download Python's exe file. Now once it is there on your device, you can just click that exe file and run it, right? Because you have to install Python on your respective device, so you'll have to run it. And because I already have this Python installed on my device, that's the reason it is showing me this window. So for now I'm canceling this. What you have to do, you can just run this file and install it. So once you'll become successful in installing this Python, what will happen, when you'll come over here in this search box and you'll type idle, so that's what you will see in this programs menu. So we are able to see this idle platform, and let's click this. Automatically you will see a window like this, right? The font size over here is very small. If you want to increase the font size, you can come on this edit, and I think I'll find the option to increase the font size over here. Let me check the other options. Okay, you have to come on options, sorry, and then you can come on this configure idle, and when you'll click on that, so that's the window you will see. Now if you want to change the font size, you can simply come over here and you can change it like this. I'm making it 20. And you want to change the font style, so you can select any one of these font styles. So I'm selecting this, apply, okay, and that's what I'm getting as an output. Right now also the font size is pretty small. Let me change it to 29. I think now it is fine, but I'm not happy with this font style. Let me just change it to something else. Font face I'm changing to Unicode, not Unicode. Is there anything which can impress me? Yeah, so this is looking much good, much better. Now you can start writing your Python code like this. Print x, right? So simply you can fire the Python code over here on this Python idle platform, and that's the way you can install Python idle platform on your respective device. Now if suppose you want to install any package, so what you will have to do, as you guys know that we cannot do it directly on this Python idle. We'll have to access command prompt for installing the package. So if suppose you want to install any package, let's say you want to install pandas, so pip install pandas is the command you can use for installing this package. Let's hit the enter button and see what's gonna happen. Oh no, it's showing that pip is not recognized as an internal or external command. Now suppose if you come across this kind of issue, so how can you resolve it? The best way is to first find out the location of your of that folder in which all the Python files are there. So let's try to find it out. So I would like to visit my PC. So this PC I would like to visit, and then as you can see I have two drives over here, and let's come on this C drive, and then you have to come in this users named folder. Here you'll find this your device's name. Click on Lenovo, and then you'll see this app data folder over here. It's a hidden folder, you'll have to unhide it first. So just double click this app data, then come in this local folder, and here in this programs, just a second, I think I'll have to search for it. No, it's not here. I think it's in programs Python. Yeah, so when you'll come over here in this local named folder, you'll find this folder named programs. Double click this folder, then double click this Python, and double click this Python 39. So that's where all my Python are at present, right? And then we have this libraries of Python, right? All these libraries are there of Python. So now what you have to do, once you're there on this folder, you'll have to open environmental variables window. How can you do that? You just have to type environment over here, right? And as soon as you'll type it, right on the top in the program menu, you'll see this edit the system environment variables. Click on this option, and it will open for you this window. Now right in the bottom in this window, you'll see this environment variables tab. Click this tab, and that's what you will see. Now come on this path option and click this edit. So now we'll be adding some more paths to this edit environment variable. So the first path we need to add is of the scripts, right? Let's copy this whole thing, and I am going to put it like this over here. You can click this new option and you can paste it over here like this. Then simply click anywhere on this window so as to save it over here. Then come back, and I would now like to save how about if I'll do the same thing for the library also. I think that is going to be new, control V. So we have done this for library, and then we have to do it for this Python 39 also. So we can copy it. So these three parts you can just add all the three to this edit environment variable like this. The way I've added, in the same way you can also add. Hit the OK button, hit the OK button, hit the OK button, and come out of all the windows. Now close the CMD first. Is my CMD open or closed? It is already closed. Let me access the CMD, and now if I'll fire this command pip install, let's see whether this time this command prompt is will be able to recognize this pip or not. Pip install pandas, enter. Let's see what is going to happen. Okay, so the download has started. It's downloading the packages from the internet, right? So that's how you can install any package using this command. Okay, and if suppose pip is not recognizable on your device, so you can follow the same steps which I just showed you. You can add the required paths in the edit environmental variable window, and once you're done with that, close your command prompt and reopen it. And when you'll fire this command over here for installing some package, definitely you will get the required output. So it's installing the pandas package right now. Okay, by the time it is getting installed, let's talk about the other platform, which is Jupyter Notebook. Let's talk about Jupyter Notebook. I think that is going to be a good option. Now, what's the difference between Jupyter Notebook and this Python idle platform? Let me tell you that. So before telling you that, I would first like to tell you the way you can access the online Jupyter Notebook. I need to access Google first. Just give me a short moment. And I would like to check the comment section also if I have anything to answer. Would like to answer the queries also. Just a second. I think I got disconnected from the internet. Let me reconnect to the internet. Okay, so for accessing the Jupyter Notebook, you can simply type Jupyter Notebook over here, and that's where it will redirect you. So click on this hyperlink, and then you can come down and visit this. Try it in your browser. Click this option, and that's where you will land. Now click this very first option because we are going to work on Python. We are not going to use any of these languages for now. So let's click on this. So as to check whether we'll be able to access Jupyter Notebook with Python kernel or not. Kernel is the base which supports the programming language. So the programming language which we will use over here is Python, right? So we need a kernel which can support this Python language, and we have successfully we are able to access the Jupyter Notebook which is currently supporting Python. Let's click this file option, and now when you'll come on this new notebook and simply click this Python 3, so it will open for you this virtual environment on which you can fire Python code. Now you can simply put this code over here, x equal to 5, and suppose you want to print the value of x, so you can run this code like this, and that's what you will get as an output. So whatever you are going to put over here, whatever Python code you'll put over here, for running it you have to click this run button. Now let me tell you something. If you want to install a package, so that's the command you can use. You want to install, let's say, NumPy. Okay, so you don't have to go on any other window. The way we were doing when we were using idle. You remember, we cannot fire this command in idle platform. We'll have to first come on the command prompt, the terminal of the device, and then we'll have to fire this command over there for installing this package. But on Jupyter, it is very easy. You can do everything on the same window on the same platform. Just run this command and automatically you'll see it is showing us that requirement already satisfied. It means that NumPy package is already present over here, so we don't have to install it. All the features of NumPy you can access directly. So that's the basic difference between idle and NumPy. What is the other platform on which you can learn Python? Let's talk about that platform. So the other platform, you can use some text editor also. So Sublime Text 3 is one of the best text editor you can use for learning any language, right, you have interest in. So again, you have to check the type of operating system you're using. If you're using Windows 64-bit, so you can go with this option. If you're using 32-bit, so you can go with this option. And let me tell you, once the Sublime Text is there, I think I don't have the Sublime Text with me on my device. No problem, you can click this option, and what will happen, automatically the download will begin. So this is the exe file of Sublime Text which is getting downloaded on my device at present. And once I'm done with downloading it, once it is there on my device, I will run it and I will install Sublime Text on my device, right? Okay, let's now talk about the last platform, which is PyCharm. So PyCharm is again a very amazing platform, and most of the professionals use this platform for doing Python coding. So Sublime Text is here. Let me first install it on my device, right? So you just have to click on this exe file and automatically this setup process will begin. And next, then install. So Sublime Text 3 is getting installed and finish. Okay, so I'm done with installing Sublime Text. It's so easy, right? Just type Sublime Text over here now, Sublime Text, and so that's the option you have to click, which will come in the programs menu once you are done with installing Sublime Text. And that's how the environment of Sublime Text looks like. Right now here, what you have to do, you can simply write the code. You write the Python code like this, x equal to 5, and then you can use this command for printing the value of x. Now if you want to run this, you will have to first save this file, right? I would like to save it in let's save it on the desktop, right? And I'm saving it first. Okay, and while you're saving it, remember to select Python from this drop down, right? Or else you can simply put py at the end, because Python files have .py extension. Save it and then come on tools, build with, and run it on Python. So okay, so we are getting some message over here, but no problem. If so it's showing that Python was not found. Run without arguments to install from Microsoft Store. Disable the shortcut. Okay, why it's not able to run it? Let me build this system with Python. I think if I will try it now, will it work or not? No, it's not working, but no problem, right? I think it's not recognizing my Python which I just installed. Let me just save it again, and this time I'm going to save it in the folder which in which that those Python files are there. So I need to come in the C drive, then you guys know very well, users, Lenovo, app data, local, and then we need to come down over here and we can visit this programs folder, Python 39, and then we can simply save it over here. First program .py, or else let's remove it and just save it like this. Okay, now if I'll run it, will it give me the correct output or not? Yes, it is giving me the correct output. See, earlier it was not recognizing it was not able to identify, it was not able to locate the folder in which Python files are there. Now when I defined this, when I saved this program at the correct location, it has given me the correct output, right? So that's how you can use this Sublime Text. And last one we are going to talk about is this PyCharm. So PyCharm, how can you download and install it? You just have to write PyCharm download, then come on this very first hyperlink and it will redirect you to this amazing web page where you'll see two different options. So either you can go with this professional one or else you can go with this community one. So first of all, as I've told you, you have to check the type of operating system. So these you guys can work on PyCharm if you have Windows 64-bit, right? If you have a 64-bit Windows, then only you'll be able to work on it. Otherwise, you will not be able to install this PyCharm on your device, right? So make a note of that. So it's a free trial version and it's free and open source. So you can download PyCharm exe file in a single click. Click this button and it will redirect you to this page, and automatically the exe file will also start downloading on your respective device. Okay, so once the file is there, you can install it, and once you're done with installing it, when you'll type PyCharm over here, so that's the option you'll see in this programs menu. Click this option and it will open for you the PyCharm environment, right, like this. Okay, so the environment is opening right now. We'll be able to see the whole environment very soon, and I'll show you how you can work on Python. So I'll be firing the same code which I fired on the previous 3 platforms which I discussed, which I explained to you guys. So it's idle we have covered, we covered Jupyter Notebook, and also we covered one text editor which is Sublime Text 3. Right, so we have Sublime Text 4 also available on internet. If you want to go with Sublime Text 4, you're most welcome to go with that. Waiting for this to open. Where is that? Let me cancel this for now, and I'm sorry, I think I need to close it first. Yeah. PyCharm, let me open it again. We'll be able to see it very soon. Okay, so that's the environment, that's the PyCharm environment, and right now the device is preparing for us the workspace, the PyCharm workspace. So it's one of the amazing environment which most of the professionals use for making Python project. And definitely if you have a 64-bit Windows operating system, please go with this this amazing platform. Definitely you're going to be benefited a lot. Okay, so that's what the environment looks like. It's somewhat similar to .NET. If you have worked on .NET, then you must be knowing about this thing. Now if you want to install any package, so it's very simple. You don't have to fire any command over here. You can come down, click on this Python package, right, and you can just put the package in the search box and just search for the package, and then you can simply install that package on your device in a single click. I'll show it to you very soon. Right now my workspace is getting prepared and it's going to take some time. We'll have to wait for that. So scanning files to index. I think the files are being scanned, getting scanned, and now packages are being collected, and hopefully we'll be able to work on it very soon. Okay, so if I'll now put this command over here, x equals to 5, and then print the value of x, and now if you want to execute this command, you have to just simply click this play button. Let's see what is going to happen. So we are able to get the output. See how simple it is. And if you want to install any package, you can click on this Python package, and suppose you want to install NumPy. So simply you can search for NumPy over here, and that's the package. Now you can double click this. I think we'll have to run it or what? Yeah. So we have this install option over here. Let's click this install option and see what's gonna happen. So I think it will be so see how simple it is. It's very simple to install a package. So now right now this NumPy package is getting installed. So if I'll search for if I'll fire this command import NumPy, let's see what is going to happen, whether this is going to give me, whether this what we call it, platform will recognize this command or not. Okay, so it's giving me an error. Looks like you are using NumPy. Would you like to turn scientific mode on? Okay. So basically, that's how you can install any package. I think it's getting installed right now. It's getting installed right now. That's why it's not recognizing this NumPy at present, but once it is there on the device, it will be able to recognize it, and it will it will be able to, it will not give us any error then. So this is it from my side in this lecture. Hope you guys enjoyed this one a lot. Thank you very much for being there with me in this tutorial. If you face any issues in downloading and installing these packages, please let me know in the comment section so that I can give you the correct suggestion, which is definitely going to be very helpful for every one of you who will face issue in installing or downloading and installing these packages. And definitely with my suggestion, you will be able to install the required platform very easily. That's it from my side. Thank you very much and have a great day. Bye bye everyone. Take care.